brought in, you can see here the pictures. They cut the stairs, and then they put bolts, pulled the panel back. Alhamdulillah, it was restored, and it's perfectly like it was before. Landscaping improvement. MashaAllah, we have a great team of volunteers. They work almost all weekends on making our landscaping better. They've planted this year alone, they've planted around 30 trees. Most of them were planted on Saqib Haq Drive. They also laid about 1,600 of irrigation pipes on Saqib Haq to water all the trees. And they've also replaced many leaking irrigation heads to save on water. They also found a lot of major leaks underground, and they replaced all of them. They fixed all of them. MashaAllah, they planted very beautiful trees, inshallah. And planting trees is a sadaqah jariyah. Keep that in mind, that if you want to be part of this, this is an ongoing effort to improve the landscape. Inshallah, anyone that benefit from a particular tree for many years to come, inshallah, whoever pays for it or whoever plants it or takes care of it, inshallah, will get the reward. We also created a map that shows all the valves and all the locations, so that if there's another maintenance team that comes in the future, they don't have to reinvent the wheel. They know exactly how everything is laid out, so they can just jump on any particular repair project. Numerous building repairs. We have a lot of issues with the doors that would not close, or you would think they were closed, but they don't lock perfectly. We brought a vendor and we went over, we fixed at least 20 doors. We also had some volunteers to paint the women's entrance. We resurfaced the MPH floor. It had a lot of dents, a lot of scratches. And we installed vinyl tiles in the ICI office. The carpet there has not been replaced for many years, and it was quite filthy. So alhamdulillah, we got that taken care of. We also, as you guys know, we poured concrete around the tree beds, so the brothers, when they're sitting, they're not sitting on mud or on dirt. Construction update. Any questions on maintenance before we move on? Go ahead, brother. Perfect. Thank you very much for asking that question. It's actually coming up in the next slide. So what I will tell you is we had a plan to change it when we were getting quotes, and one of the brothers came to me and said, "Are you planning on changing it?" I said, "Yes, we are getting quotes." He said, "Don't worry about it. It's on me. Whatever the cost is, I'm going to repair it for you." And we are going, inshallah, to start that project in November, next month, inshallah ta'ala. So thank you for asking that question. Yes?
Have a question, there's a mic available upstairs.
Okay, so if any of the sisters has a question, there is a mic available upstairs. She can pick up the mic and ask the question, inshallah ta'ala. As far as construction in general, I took lead of the construction committee, and when I started working with the Waqf board, we were exchanging some ideas on how the Waqf is going to be constructed and its effect on phase 3, because we were in the process of kickstarting phase 3. We came to know that there were some issues with the parking. So alhamdulillah, we got a very good team of professionals. We had 2 architects, one representing ICI and one representing the Waqf. We had a number of civil and structural engineers. We put them all in a room and said, "Here is the issue. We need you to figure it out." We had multiple visits to the city. We did a number of meetings with them. Alhamdulillah, eventually we made some changes to the parking lot. That's not going to have major impact to the Waqf, but it will save thousands of dollars down the road if we had not done that at this point, because it would have had major impact to phase 3, 4, and 5. So alhamdulillah, that phase is approved by the city for the parking, and the Waqf they got the approval to do the underground utilities, and as a matter of fact, they've started mobilizing their equipment. If you were to look where the construction is, you will see some of the equipment coming in starting last week, and inshallah next week you're going to see them breaking ground, inshallah, starting the work. And there is an announcement around related to that we talked about yesterday, that they're going to do the underground utilities all the way to where the Tuscany walkway is. We asked them to hold off on blocking the Tuscany walkway so that the musallis can still walk in there, but they're going to set up fences from the walkway all the way to the waqf. At some point, they need to do some work, so they would have to block that, but it's going to be down the road, and we told them to minimize the impact to the Tuscany residents, inshallah ta'ala. New school portable. The school came to us and they said, we have a very long list of students on the waiting list. What can we do? Can we bring a new portable? Can we use the ICI building for this? So we had a lot of back and forth. We did a lot of analysis. The most important part is when you have kids who want to go to the Islamic school and they don't want to go to the public school, you want to do everything you can to accommodate them. That was the #1 goal. But the second thing is we also did an ROI, return on investment. How much is the portable going to cost us and how much the school is going to get in revenue? And alhamdulillah, it turned out that it will be a positive cash flow, so the school would not lose on this. It's not a lost project. It's actually a gain. It's a win-win. The students will win, and alhamdulillah, the school will win as well. So we leased a new portable. You can see it here in the picture. Alhamdulillah, it came in. All the underground utility was put in place, and we got the approval last Friday. Alhamdulillah, they've already moved all the equipment, all the furniture, and they emptied the library to my right, and they also emptied the da'wah room. We put the furniture back in place, alhamdulillah, and this is placed in where phase 3 will not affect it. So inshallah, this trailer will stay for at least 2 years, then we can decide if we need to renew or not. The men's restroom remodeling, as you know, we've started that project. This project has been long overdue. Alhamdulillah, we started the project. We already finished the sisters wudu area behind the men's restroom. And we finished the 2 family rooms. The brothers' toilet area, we've split the restroom into 2 phases. The toilets is in progress. You can see here in the picture, tile has been laid out, and inshallah, we are targeting to finish most of the work by end of next week. And we are getting ready for the ijtima that's happening, inshallah, in the first weekend of November. Inshallah, the plan is that the bathrooms will be ready for our guests when they come in. And after that, inshallah, we will start the next phase of redoing or remodeling the wudu area. Inshallah, that's gonna come up next. We also have a major project that's ongoing. You don't see the changes yet because we're laying out the infrastructure, and that is to have access control and upgrading our security cameras. So what we're doing is for the men's entrance, we used to have access control in the past and it was disabled many years ago. We're putting a state-of-the-art intercom and access control. So you, as a regular musalli, you would have a card so you can come in. You don't need a key. You can just have a card to get in. You can use it if somebody is a visitor and the masjid is locked, they can push on the intercom. It works like a ring. And somebody from the staff or from security would let them in remotely. We will also have access control to the gym. In addition to having cards or phones to get in, we can also issue temporary barcode. So if there are events or there are classes, so we can let the students in, but we will not let unattended people to go into the MPH during restricted hours. So that's also happening for ISI as well. We are also doing this for the doors that lead to the school because there's a great concern by parents who don't want intruders to go into the school during school hours. So inshallah, we will have access control to the school to secure it during their hours. We're also doing major upgrades to the security cameras. We have some dead spots. Some cameras don't work. Some cameras are outdated. So we're revamping the security system, making it scalable so that we can expand, especially when we're adding phase 3. So we'll have one scalable system that's modern, adding more cameras. We're also adding license plate cameras to the front. Now, doing this work requires underground work. So alhamdulillah, we started this, putting conduits under concrete, connecting all the gates. You might, if you look carefully, you will see some access panels. They're put on the fences. Alhamdulillah, that work is going on. We're also enabling our infrastructure to support an LCD display, similar to the ones that churches put. We want to put something that's pretty big so that we can put da'wah messages, announcements, and things of that nature. So we're doing since we're already working on this, we're doing the underground work so that the connectivity will be available. And once we decide to purchase the panels, we will have the infrastructure to support it. Any questions before we move into future plans or future projects? All right, as far as the future, so we did some site visits to BHA and the House of Peace in DeSoto to learn about how they manage their multi-purpose halls, what kind of type of upgrades they did, and we can learn from their experiences. As you can see in the first picture here, this is BHA. You will notice our MPH, by the way, is bigger than theirs. It's much bigger than theirs. But what they have is they have those green acoustic panels to help absorb the echo. So if we were to have an event in the MPH, like Friday prayers, or if we are doing like a fundraising or some kind of an event, you will hear a lot of echo. And that's because of the large hall and the hard walls. So we're putting acoustic panels. That's in the pipeline, inshallah. And you can see here the carpet is basically like panels that can be removed at will. So if you're doing a fundraising, you can put the panels, and then when you're done, you can take it out for kids to play. There's also, you can see at BHA, they have bleachers. So we have that in a plan. We got quotes on this so that if we have a tournament, we'll be able to just unfold them electronically, and we'll be able to fit about 350 spectator, inshallah. The other thing is we're looking into is to have projectors. You can see this retractable base for the projector. Also have a plan to upgrade the kitchen. This is from the House of Peace in DeSoto. They did a similar warm-up kitchen, and this can bring income to the masjid and to ISI. We know we can have our own iftar prepared here in-house, or meals after Friday and after events, inshallah. So that's also in the pipeline. All right, next I have the financial update. Any questions before I move to financial updates? Yes, brother.
One second, so people can hear your question.
Can you give him the other mic?
Oh,
he took it upstairs. Okay.
For sisters, you use this.
Okay. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and Jazakallah for an awesome update. Really great things happening. Thank you, a big thank you to the board. One thing that I observed, maybe you can add in your future plans, is when the school children are coming out and they're walking towards different communities, if we can have a sidewalk against the wall throughout the masjid. So what it will also enable is, I have seen people using the parking to do walks, like, men and women, they are walking in the evenings. And so there's no sidewalk, so that may, hopefully, no accidents happen, but something that we can think of to ensure that there's a sidewalk so that the children only use the sidewalk to go to their respective homes and communities.
It was actually turned off. All right, Jazakallah khair for the question. Any other question, Brother Igad? Can you give him the mic, please? Yeah, it is a great suggestion.
So inshallah, we'll let this school administration know and see what they can do, inshallah.
Brother Mansour is going to have a workout today.
Yes, salam alaikum, jazakumullah khair. I think if you look at the phase 3, the original phase 3, which comes to the multi-purpose hall and also to the kindergarten, there is a kitchen and there's also a warm on the design. So can you incorporate that to the new, you say you're going to have a warm kitchen, right?
Yes.
So I think before you make the final decision, you need to look at the original phase 3 and see where we stand also the construction of phase 3, inshallah. Because we did, Brother Assam did all this work, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward for him.
Jazakallah khair for the question. That's exactly what Brother Isam told us, by the way. When we talked about this, he said we need to design the full kitchen, including phase 3, and then you can see you can break it into 2 phases. Phase 1 is the half that we have here, and phase 2 would be when we add the second half and we double the size of the kitchen, just to make sure that we don't do anything that has to be undone in the future. Jazakallah khair, point well taken. Any other questions? Yeah. So, sisters, do you have a mic? If you have any questions or comments, please feel free. Okay. Let's move on to the financial updates. So we started doing financial audits for every year. So we started with year 2020, and we hired an independent CPA to do the audit. Came back. This is a copy of the front page of the management report, basically telling us about any holes we have in the existing policy. You need to do this, you need to do that. The most important part was the cash collection policy. And we discussed with him our new cash collection policy, and he said, alhamdulillah, that it cannot get better than that, alhamdulillah. So at any point in time, whenever we are collecting cash, we always have two people present when we're opening boxes, when we're collecting the cash, or when we're taking the cash to the operation room. We also have a counting machine to make sure that our count is accurate. We take signatures from all the people who are there. We have 2 cameras monitoring. We have cameras in every collection room and in every money room. Alhamdulillah, the policy was certified by our accountant. And alhamdulillah, the policy is very, very solid. There were additional feedback that we got, and alhamdulillah, we incorporated all the feedback we got in the report. The 2021 audit is going on, and inshallah, this is going to be a habit. Every year, when the year ends, our independent auditor will audit the finance to make sure that there are no discrepancies, there are no issues. If there needs to be changes to the policy, we would recommend them, and we would implement them based on that. I did a quick budget versus actual for 2022. Okay, let's just wait for the microphone, please.
Assalamu alaikum. So one item that I wanted to bring to your attention, when the 2020 audit was done, in spite of the pandemic, we had, the masjid was, for all intent and purposes, closed for a few months, actually. In spite of that, we had a positive year. I think we financially, we made under $60,000 or something like that. It's in the P&L statement. Between the school and the masjid combined, we had an overall positive year. And so that was pretty positive, alhamdulillah, overall, considering it was a pandemic year.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, so comparing 2022 versus 2021, you can see here from a revenue perspective, it's similar, but keep in mind that we are still in October, so we still have 2 more months to go, which tells us that, mashallah, our community is donating more than they did before. Alhamdulillah, that's very positive. You can also see from the expenditures is that we've exceeded what we've budgeted, what we did last year, which tells you that we are doing a lot more projects. As you can see in the update, we're doing a lot more projects. And in a nonprofit, you go as far as how much you spend is by how much your community wants you to spend. So based on the amount of donation that goes into operation, that also determines how much we are going to spend in that. As you can see that we are, as far as net revenue, we are not close to hit the 2021, but that's because of the 2 months discrepancy. This is just preliminary, obviously, because we haven't closed the year. Any questions? Okay, and this is a new way of tracking collection. I've created a central collection spreadsheet that I shared with all the employees, staff with the school or within ICI, so that they can have one central place to track our collection. So whenever we collect on a Friday, on that day, we usually go in and we update the spreadsheet, and it would automatically update here in the table. So what you see here is you can see July, August, September under quarter 3. You can see the individual collections for each department, and you can see the grand totals there. And then now we are in October. You can see what we're tracking in October. One thing to note is, because of, just to make the process easier and more streamlined, we on a weekly basis we collect sadaqah and operation, because those are the largest buckets. The other ones we collect them at the end of the month, just to streamline the process. Any questions? All right, so with this, now we are going to go to the community development. So I'm going to turn over the floor to our brother Nu'man to give us an update on the community development.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Jazakallah khair, Brother Islam. My dear respected brothers and sisters, especially elders and youngsters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers, I joined Shura Council back in August-September time. So inshallah, my tenure so far has been limited. But alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, the focus is on youth. As far as I'm appointed by the Shura Council, my focus is, or overseeing, is community development, youth, multi-purpose hall, and all the activities with the sports related, inshallah. So if anybody, anytime has anything, any concerns, any comments, any feedback regarding these departments, please reach out to me. You can reach out to Nuruddin or any of the Shura Council members, inshallah. And we'll try our best to resolve whatever it is, inshallah. On the high level, on the high notes, inshallah, I have details. If anybody wants, I don't want to take much time here, because this is something not at that level yet. So I have the details. If anybody wants to know all the details in the depth, then please see me and we can sit together and tell you more about it. But on the high level, I'll tell you that the focus is from these departments is there are spiritual classes going on, lectures going on, workshops going on daily, on weekly basis and monthly basis. Then there are educational classes that take place in the center. Also, you have seen sports activities from basketball to volleyball, table tennis, cricket, not to forget, they'll kill me. But Bismillah. So there are a number of soccer. There's number of activities going on in multi-purpose hall from all ages. So inshallah, the youth is involved. Youth is doing good. Brother Nuruddin, I don't want to forget him. He's the main person who is the manager for the development and the community and relations. So you can always reach out to him. If you don't get the right answers or anything, you can reach out to me, inshallah. So other than that, I mean, there are social activities going on. There are lots of activities on the administrative level, and there are some funds that has been generated by different activities throughout the year, and now we are in the last quarter. So inshallah, I mean, there are many details as far as different programs, sisters programs, brothers programs, youth programs, halakha nights, and this and that, story night for the kids. So inshallah, if anybody wants to know the details, please reach out to me. I'll definitely sit with you and you can look over those details. Other than that, that's the small report that I have from my perspective, inshallah. I'll give it back to Sam.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Naaman. I also want to recognize our beloved Brother Mansoor, who's our new operation manager. He's also an ISI teacher. He teaches computer science. MashaAllah, very talented, very detail-oriented, MashaAllah. Can you stand up so that everybody can see you? This is Brother Mansoor. Anything related to office and operations, inshallah, please feel free to reach out to him. Jazakallah khair for all the long hours and for putting up with me. Actually, we need the other mic.
I think this is important for us to recognize that we don't have professional cater of people who come and take masjid or other Islamic work as a profession. So they come here for a few days, few months, and make some money and move on to something outside. And Brother Mansoor is a very qualified gentleman. He has double E, electrical engineering masters, right? Bachelor's and masters in electrical engineering. So he's a very highly talented gentleman. And inshallah, we are working with him to build a career path for people not only like him in this masjid, but across the US. So when people join at a certain level, you know, in corporations, they have a career path, how people progress from one job to the other, and then they eventually lead the organization. So we want to have similar care for Islamic work or Islamic institutions. And inshallah, we'll work with Brother Mansoor to develop one that we can share with other masajids so that everybody knows that these are from the professional care people. They're respected because of the work they do and the skills they bring to the table. He's double E and focused on IT, right?
Jazakallah khair, Brother Mansoor. I want to just add a couple quick, just expand on for the community development. Alhamdulillah, we're working on expanding we used to have Java classes and technical classes, and so inshallah, we want to revive that. And Brother Mansoor is leading that effort with Brother Nuruddin and also with some volunteers. If you have technical skills or any skill for that matter, that please feel free to reach out to us so that we can organize a class. I had a dream before when I watched one particular program about a masjid in Europe, specifically in Bosnia. And the person who was in charge of the masjid said that people should come to the masjid for everything, for all of their needs, not just the spiritual needs. That's obviously for any masjid, but he was talking about life skills. So what they did at that masjid is they started teaching people things they would use on a daily basis, like carpentry. So they actually started like a workshop to teach people how to fix things in your house, to do simple things, to do landscaping. And mashallah, we have a lot of talents here in the community in many different areas, and we can hold classes like this. So if you have a particular talent that you can benefit your community, it doesn't have to be just religious, it could be life skills. Please feel free to reach out to Brother Mansoor, and we can maybe do something to teach the community about that. So these are some of the pictures that Brother Nuruddin shared with us about some of the community development activity. We don't want to go through a lot of details, but I want to end with one thought, and that is, how do we measure if the masjid is doing a good thing, it's doing what it's supposed to do from a management perspective? And there are different ways to track that. One way is to look at donation level, how much the community believes in the management, believes in the shura, and look at this. And mashallah, we track very good. You can see that this year, mashallah, the community is very generous, and they are donating a lot of money to the house of Allah, to the masjid. So that's one type of indicator. There are many different type of indicators, but the one that I really care about is how much value is ICI bringing to you and to your family, to your kids and wife. And that happens primarily with religious programs. A lot of you have reached out to us and said, we need more. ICI is a mega masjid and it deserves more. So alhamdulillah, I'm working with our imam, working with Brother Nuruddin on establishing religious programs. Alhamdulillah, we reached out to the Qalam. We went and visited their campus on behalf of ICI. we were greatly welcomed by them, by Sheikh Abdul Nasir, by Sheikh Mufti Kamani. Alhamdulillah, we can do a lot of activities with them in coordination, specifically focusing on youth, because that's usually the interest that the community is concerned about, is doing more for youth, reaching out to other masajids like Valley Ranch and other, Epic, and having some collaboration, and bringing their mashayikh to us and our mashayikh to them, and do that collaboration. Alhamdulillah, all of that is work in progress. But I want to tell you that if you have feedback, if you have needs specifically on this, please reach out to the Imam or reach out to me or Brother Mansoor, inshallah. We take this feedback very, very seriously. With that, Jazakumullah khair. This is all I had. I don't know if any of you want to say anything. Brother Hassan, did you want to say anything? Or we can just open it for Q&A. Okay, so one last thing about membership. So we encourage everyone to renew their membership. If you were previously a member, we encourage you to renew the membership. Inshallah, we have a plan in the future to improve the membership value so that you become an ICI member to support ICI primarily, and to receive certain perks like discounts, like special access in the masjid, things to help you so that you feel part of the masjid, because we don't want the membership to be a political thing. We want it to be where you feel like you belong to the masjid. Your voice is heard, and you're contributing to the masjid, and the masjid is giving you value back. So inshallah, that's also in the works. All right, so Jazakumullah khair for listening, for your attendance. Inshallah, we will open the floor for questions. You can ask any questions you want, inshallah ta'ala. Just raise your hand, inshallah, you will get the microphone. Brother Nizar.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nizar Fidai. Basically, Jazakallah khair for all the updates that you have given. MashaAllah, Allah make it blessed for all of us. The basic concern and questions from the community is about the khatibs that comes to ICI. We have a big masjid, mashallah. We have attendees of over 2,000 plus people, more or less. And we have same repeated khatibs that comes and delivers their khutbahs. So community is very concerned and very much inquired that why other khatibs from other masajids don't participate here. So that'll make it more unified for all of us, the entire DFW area. So that's what the main cause is. And also khataras and, our khatibs going there, their khatibs coming here. So in exchange. Jazakallah khair.
Barakallah fiqh. Jazakallah khair. Great suggestion, great comment. And so, inshallah, we'll take this very seriously and we'll discuss it, inshallah. Thank you.
So, adding to Brother Nisar Bhai, some of the khatibs, when they give the lecture, they seem to just waver and waver. They go in different directions. So if we can request them to have a particular format, like a beginning, a solid body, and a solid ending, so that at the end, the people who are listening, they are getting lost. Like especially some of the lectures in the masjid. So I have heard people discussing within the community. So something that we can ask the khatibs to actually have a proper beginning, body, and end that the listeners can take back with them. Thank you.
Great suggestion. Jazakallah khair. We'll take a note of that. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
This is a general concern. I heard at your update that you are going to remodel the wuzu area. At this time, I would like you to keep that in mind when you do that remodeling. At this time, when I'm done with the wuzu, I come out the door, and now up to the carpet, it's a cemented or tiling area. And that's everybody goes with the shoes there at this time. So the people coming from the wuzu area now, if they walk on that one, will their wuzu will be okay or no? So keep that in mind, that there used to be a carpet from that door up to the brown carpet area, which is not there at this time. So I just request, when you do the remodeling, please keep that in mind. Do something, okay?
Inshallah.
Thank you
Jazakallah
very
khair.
much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, you'll be next, inshallah, brother.
Jazakallah, brother. This is
Alaikum
some
salam.
good updates, mashallah. Just one thing for Juma, if it's possible, and this could be something with the youth, you know, where between the Jumas, there's just a general cleanup a little bit, you know, because there's a lot of trash that just builds up just from the whole population just coming out of the masjid and from the stores. It's kind of, you know, you can't really avoid it because there's just so many people. But if we had the kids involved with, you know, at least a group of the leadership of the kids or some club of the kids where they keep and help maintain, you know.
You mean inside the musalla, right? Or in general?
In general, like, or like the kids from the school, you know, something, because they sell cookies, right? And this is something like they have fundraisers and things like that. And if they provide services that are some basic things, helping out with the maintenance on the landscaping, join up different clubs to get points. I think we touched on that one
Yes.
time back a year ago or so. But that might motivate them to then, you know, fulfill their roles as youth and get under the mentorship of that program, basically, right? And cleaning is just a part where, like, Fridays, everybody comes to pray. So many non-Muslims, like, you know, maybe a few times a year I'll bring a non-Muslim through just to see, and that's one of the eyesores that we have, is just the litter, you know. So
Jazakallah khair for the update. That's a great update. The brother there in the red kufi. Beautiful red.
MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'd like
Walaikum
to
salam.
tell you brothers, you did a good job. The masjid is a house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, you're following Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you're doing a good work of establishing the deen and inviting people to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And keep that in mind. The masjid is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't let it become a corporation to be a business place, but to be the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're doing an excellent job. And the thing to keep in mind is to look in the future. وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ. What's going to happen in the future? 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. You want to keep this place to be active in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't want it to deviate. You don't want the bad things to be, to have this place change into things that are not in the deen. So I want all the people that are in the administration to bear that in mind, to keep this place the way it is now, to be active in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't corrupt it. Don't let it change and become worse. Don't interject things that are wrong and corrupt the good activities that are going. So bear that in mind in the future. And the way that to do that is always to follow Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's the best of guiders. Listen to our shuyukh and ulama that teach us the deen, and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and keep that going. Don't follow the other ways. Jazakallah khair.
Wa iyyak. MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Any questions from the sisters? We have a microphone upstairs, so feel free to ask a question if you have any. All right, well, Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for your attendance, and inshallah we'll be communicating more and more, inshallah, on a regular basis. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.